welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I am sharing with you all of the books that I received for Christmas. I've got a nice little stack over here for you. Some of you subscribers were so kind and generous to send me some gifts for Christmas. I got some from friends and I got some from my husband, and then I have a little stack here as well. My library has a cart that has free books that they're getting rid of that they're not trying to sell, and I have 4 books that I pulled off of that cart the 2 times that I went to the library. So I've got 2 books one time and 2 books another time, so I'm gonna go ahead and share those with you as well. Starting with this book that I got from my sweet friend Penny. It was so kind of her to send this to me. This is the 28 Fast Start Day by Day. So earlier this year, Penny had read, I think it's Fast Feast Repeat, yes. So she read that book and loved it, and my mother-in-law had actually read that book last year and was talking about it, all about intermittent fasting. And so I was talking to Penny about it, I was asking her some questions, and then she very sweetly sent me this, which was so thoughtful of her because we had been having conversations about it. So this book is really cool because, like I said on the title, it is 28 days, and as a result it has things about fasting and information, but it's got places where you can reflect on how the day went and like lots of places to take notes. So it's super practical in addition to being really interesting. Next, I got this book from a subscriber friend, Nicole from the Lilac Cottage. She got me The Light Princess by George MacDonald, and I actually have read this before and I really liked it. This is a very short, sweet, whimsical fairy tale by George MacDonald, and the illustrations are by Maurice Sendak, which I love. I think they are just so beautiful. I love this book, and I'm so happy that I finally own it, and I'm definitely going to pass it on to my daughter because I think that she would really enjoy it. Next, my sweet friend Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space sent me not 1 but 2 books for Christmas. So kind and generous of her. So she sent me In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park, and this is one I wanted to read for a while. I really am interested in all things Korean, as you probably know, and so North Korean defector stories are really fascinating to me. And this is one that's gained a lot of notoriety. I have this one, and then actually I think it was last Christmas I just did a reviewing books that I got for last Christmas and whether or not I'd read them. There was another North Korean defector story that Christy had sent to me last year. So now I have 2 to read and I'm really excited. Christy also sent me this gorgeous, amazing edition of Lord of the Rings. It is so beautiful. It contains original illustrations from the author. It's an omnibus, as you can tell, I'm sure. It has this beautiful sprayed and painted edges. I'll take off the dust jacket so you can see it's got the eye on the front and on the spine, and it actually also in both the front and the back has a couple of separate maps that are really cool. I really like that. Has a ribbon bookmarker as well, and then like I said, it has illustrations that Tolkien did himself. So I actually have individual copies of these books as well, and I am reading these with my Patreon. So we're reading Fellowship of the Ring in January, Two Towers in February, and Return of the King in March. So I am reading the individual books because they're a little easier to hold, but this is a book that I'm going to be flipping through every single chapter to see all of the illustrations that Tolkien did himself, and I feel like that is going to enhance this read through of Lord of the Rings that much more. Next up, from a sweet subscriber friend and patron, Charlene, she sent me Lost Illusions by Honoré de Balzac, and we've been talking a decent amount about French literature because Charlene really likes French literature and she's more widely read on French literature than I am, and I had only read Pere Goriot so far, and I liked it but didn't love it. I liked some of the humor, but I was trying to decide whether or not I should read more of him. And this is the only one of his that Charlene has read. And so she very sweetly sent this to me as a Christmas gift. I'm really excited to read it. It's actually a lot thicker than I thought it would be. It's a lot longer than Paragorio is. And then I should also mention, I did actually share this in a vlog. So if you watched my Vlogmas clips, you already know that. But Charlene also sent me some really cool literary tea, and because she pays attention to detail, it is so thoughtful. She sent me both Dickens and Dostoevsky tea, and they are both just so delicious and so good, and I love them. And she also sent me this cute little tea ball because it's loose leaf tea that's got a cat reading a book, and it's just so cute, and it makes me so happy every time I drink that tea. Next up, Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, my sweet friend, sent me Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. This is one of Sanderson's secret project books. I think it's number 3. And so far, the only secret project book that I've read is Tress of the Emerald Sea, which I love. But how cool is this cover? I've had a few people say that they like Yumi the best out of his secret projects, and I've had some people say it's their second favorite because they liked Tress more. So it kind of depends, but this one ranks pretty high, I think, on a lot of people's secret projects. But this one is connected to the Cosmere. I don't know how, but I plan to read it once I have finished Rhythm of War, so I'm really excited about it. Then my husband bought me a book, but he also made me these cute little like paperclip bookmarks, which are adorable. He doesn't usually do crafty stuff, so that was super sweet of him. But he bought me Defiant, which is the concluding book in the Skyward series, which is really funny because last Christmas he bought me Cytonic, and I have not yet read that. So now I have all of the Skyward books, including a book that has all the collected novellas in it. So I really need to reread Skyward and Starsight so I can go on and finish the rest of the series, because I've heard iffy things about Cytonic, and that's kind of why I had not taken the plunge to try to reread. But I've heard from people who have read Defiant that Sanderson wrapped up this quartet really well, which is not surprising, because Sanderson is really good with endings that are epic and tie together all these loose ends. So I think that it will be worth it for me, and I'll really like it. I'll just probably need to push through Cytonic a little bit harder than I tried to previously. Before I get into the books that I pulled off of the free cart at my library, my in-person book club, we did a Christmas party together and did a book exchange. The book that I brought was Agnes Grey. If you know, you know. I ended up with a book that my friend Whitney Drew, who also has a channel, brought, and she brought Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. I think that this is a cozy mystery about an old lady who is trying to solve a murder, so maybe more of kind of a Miss Marple feel. I don't know. Miss Marple is kind of nosy too, and this lady looks real nosy. But she said it was a lot of fun and that she really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a try. So the last 4 books that I have are books that I pulled off of the free cart at my library. The first one here is The Red Umbrella, which I have read, and it takes place after the Communist Revolution in Cuba. So it's a historical fiction following this young girl. I feel like it's more YA than it is middle grade, because there's something that happens in it that I feel like would be very uncomfortable for a middle grade reader, but would be okay for a young teen. So that's kind of how I feel about it, but it's one that I might like Claire to read in the future because it brought a lot of light to a lot of the things that Fidel Castro was doing in an interesting way. So I think she would enjoy it. Next, I got a book that I probably shouldn't have got because I don't know if I'm actually gonna read this, so I need your help in the comments. Tell me whether or not you've read this, whether or not you think I would like it. It's actually a play, Cyrano de Bergerac, and yeah, it's by Edmund Rostand, translated by Gladys Thomas and Mary Guillemard. So it's a play, like I said. And I don't always like reading plays anyway, but didn't they just make like a movie or a TV show out of this like semi-recently? That's the only reason why it was even on my radar to pick it up. And now I'm wondering if it was even worth it for me to pick it up, even though it's free. But I'm just curious, if you've read it, did you like it? Do you think I'll like it? I really need your input here. I also picked up Dawn by Eli Wiesel, and I have read Night by him and really loved it. Thought it was so good. He's someone that survived a Holocaust concentration camp, and so his perspective was really good. Difficult to read at times, of course, but such a good book. And so this is I guess a companion book, but I don't think it's actually, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's actually his story. I think it's stories that he's collected from other people who were in concentration camps, but I'm not totally sure on that. I just couldn't believe it was there for free. And lastly, I got A Passage to India by E.M. Forster. I've still only read one E.M. Forster book, and I need to read more of his books because I liked A Room with a View, but I didn't love it. So I don't know if I'll love his other ones, but I do love these Every Man's Library. I don't even know if I can show you very well in this video, but like underneath the dust jacket, it is like the prettiest book ever. So I'm really happy that I got it and want to try it at some point. I have several E.M. Forsters just sitting on my shelf. Well, those are the books that I got for Christmas from friends or family or picked up for free that weren't for Christmas at all, which are just those last 4 books. I wanted a place to talk about them. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Did you get any books for Christmas? And if so, what are the books that you are most excited to dive into that you got? Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me. And I will see you again next time.